Scoot in. All the things. Go live. Hi everybody, it's Nancy. Hope you're doing good. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the live. If it says was live here, that means you caught the replay. Just type hashtag replay. That way I can welcome you. I'm going to send out my notifications. If you want to be in my broadcast channel so you're up to date on all the things with Runner Girl, type the word broadcast and I will send you a message after the live. This is struggling to get out. I'm hoping it's going to go. Let's do this and try this one more time. All right, let me check Facebook and see how life is going there. Hope you guys are good. We are going to do this hanging organizer that is right now on my chalk site. It comes with 12 pockets. It's canvas. It's very textured. It's got this hanger on it, which you could probably shorten if you like, if you need to. And we're going to work on it. I am going to actually make this for something for school for my friend and I. I'm going to make 2 of these. Today we're just going to make 1. I'm trying to decide, do I want my... I don't really need my ink mat, but do I want it? When you get here, say hi, type the word 12, and check your messages. Oh, let me find my... I am not here. I'm not here, but I am here. Okay. Let me show you the design. Now this is a size C, you guys. And I just want to point out there are no cut lines on this. Okay, there are no cut lines in between, but they did this to save you some money, but to give you as much as they can in a smaller size. So you're going to need to cut here, even though there are no cut lines. We're going to do that today. So just want to prepare you for that. It is a size C, which is a little cheaper price for you, but you're going to be able to make this really cute project and anything else you would like to make with it. Let me find myself. Okay, so I'm going to get my scissors out. Hello, everyone. Let's see. Hi, Mary and Linda and Janet. How are you? Hi, Kathy. Just got one Etsy box and wanted to say, oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad it arrived. Awesome. You should have another one and then the recut one coming, a smaller envelope. Hi, Mary. Hi, Lena. So good to see you too. Okay, so we're going to need to cut. Now, you could cut through your backer sheet. Definitely not going to do that. I'm going to do my best to be right in the middle. You just want to be careful not to cut any of your silk screen when you do this, okay? Because then if you do, you're going to get a bleed, okay? Now you could do this as detailed as you want, as many colors as you like. I've seen this done a few different ways. And I'm going to say the way I'm going to do it is, I think, my favorite way I've seen it done so far. But of course, you can do this however you like. I love your scratching your head with your scissors. You know, it was funny when I was doing it, I was thinking, well, Nancy, and I was almost going to do this. And I thought, and I was like that. I'm thinking to myself, don't cut your hair. What's wrong with you? Whatever. You guys, it's never a dull moment. My grandma would always say, it's never a dull moment with you, Nancy Ann. And that is a true statement. No truer words were ever been said. Oh, Lena, you haven't gotten them yet? Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. I was very excited about this bundle when the... I just absolutely love the holiday launch, you guys. It was one of my favorites in a while, like as far as a whole launch goes. The holiday, this last holiday one, just the regular holiday 2025 that was launched in September. honestly, it's the first time that I have ever bought everything, especially holiday, because you know it's a big launch, but I loved so many of the designs. I had to have them all. So this was one of the bundles that came with it, and I am just cutting in between now. Now, what's cool is you could do this just the way it comes, like this. If you have a surface that will work it on, you could put it on a chalkboard and just do the whole thing in white. That would be pretty. But we're going to put this on this organizer. And like I said, I bought 2 organizers. They're not super expensive. And I'm going to make one for my class and one for the other class. And we were thinking, because I usually do in my classroom at Christmas time, we're a private school, so we can talk about Christmas. We actually talk about all the holidays, but I usually do a countdown, a Lego advent calendar. Hi, Teresa. How are you? And I let a child build something each day until it's time for the holidays. I'm trying to think how close I want this. Do I want this in the middle? Or do I want it like down here? I think I want it up here in the middle. Okay. This is very thick fabric, so it's not going to bleed through the back. So I'm not worried about using my ink mat. Unless the only part about the ink mat is it's going to hold my fabric still. Okay. Hang on. I'm just trying to tuck this in so it doesn't fall. Okay. Here we go. Well, you guys can see just fine. I'm doing great, Teresa. Okay, let's start with the top. I am going to do this whole thing in black, you guys. We're going to keep it simple. I have seen this done in red. I'm not a fan of it done in red. I want to like it, but I'm not a fan. So we're going to go with black. I've seen it done multicolors, and I might do the other one in multicolors. Today we're going to do this one in black, and I promise you're going to like it. You're going to like it, but you can do whatever color you like. Hi, Margaret Skinner. How are you? So you want to take your time, get your air bubbles out, okay? Because this is ink we're going to use. It's going to be permanent. You can use paste if you want. If you plan to never wash this, feel free to use paste. I'm going to suggest for those of you who are like me and maybe a little heavy-handed with the paste or the ink, I suggest maybe taping off your transfer on the edges that are really close, okay? Take some painter's tape, take some transfer tape, and this will give you a little room, and then that way if you make a mistake, you know, it's going to be on the tape. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Patricia Brown. Hello, my friends are here. Love it. Okay, so with ink, you want to use kind of firm pressure, but you apply it the same as paste. And I'm just going to go through and press this in. What I actually like, now black is a little messy to clean, it's fine. But what I love is that the ink is so much easier. It comes off the transfer so much easier. It's way easier to clean than paste. I'm choosing to use ink because I don't use ink often. And I don't know, I just decided I'd show you. Plus, since I'm going to have this at school, I may want to wash it. So, you know, you never know what can happen at school. I had a child come to school yesterday and throw up within 5 minutes of being at school. So, you just never know. Hi, Lucia. How are you? Or Lucia, probably Lucia. All right, and then we're going to lift this. So every time you lift, just make sure your hands are clean, okay? I didn't push very hard, even though I told you to. And so I may have to go over this again. We'll see. You can lift it and lay it right back down if you make any mistakes or you miss any or whatever. Okay, my M is a little... I didn't take my own advice, you guys. I didn't press firmly. So you want to lift, and if it's not all the way through, just lay your transfer down. There's some super skinny lines here, so I may just go over those one more time real quick, because I think that's what I kept missing here. Hold, please. Take my own advice. Press firmly with ink or you're gonna get, it's not gonna all go through. Sandy Bullard, how are you? I just loved your, what were they, Chalk Buddies, or what you posted with the I Saw That in Design Studio. So cute. This you're gonna clean in your sink. I'm just gonna lay it in my drawer. So adorable. I loved that you had that Santa peeking at those naughty elves. That was hilarious. It brought me a lot of joy. All right, I'm just gonna spray that. You guys, this is gonna look so nice. Okay, now I'm gonna get this out of this drawer. Hold, please. Hi, guys. All right. All right, so now we're gonna move it up. And of course I've got ink all over my hands. Yeah, the tape will give you a little more room. They're skulls, Janet. Am I seeing things, or are those skeletons on my shirt? Yes, they're skulls. This was my daughter's shirt. It's kind of a fun shirt because it opens in the back. Aw, it did. It really did. I was looking at it early this morning, and I'm like, and I'm not a morning person. But I was like, oh, look at what she did. That's so cute. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just put all of these on here, okay? So I'm just going to lay them down as best I can. And then we're going to do them all in black. This will not even take long. I would just try to put them at least side to side in the middle of the pocket and about the same height all the way across, or visually it will look a little wonky. Yes, I wore it. Is there something wrong with me where you're saying it like, I know I'm interpreting what you're saying like it's a scandalous shirt. Is it scandalous? I thought it was just a cute skull shirt. Yes, I wore it to school. I rarely change. Do you think it's inappropriate? The girls loved it. They have little flowers on their head. Hi, Cindy. Oh, you did. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm getting ready for my daughter's wedding Saturday. Oh, how nice, Sandy. Is this your first child's wedding? Like, you know what I mean? Because I think I saw your son maybe graduated not that long ago. Oh, okay. It's okay if you think it's, I mean, everybody has their own taste or whatever. I'm just wondering why you asked if I wore it to school. Yes, I did. I absolutely did. Honestly, you guys, it's going to take longer to set all this out than it is going to craft it. So this one is one not to be intimidated by at all. And you can go through and do all the details if you like. Today, I am not in the mood for that. And then you can go through, tape it all off if you like. I don't know if I'll have the patience for that either. We'll see. Some of these I'm going to have to. Because you're a kindergarten teacher, I thought it might scare. Oh, no, it didn't scare them. I'm doing good, Donna. Oh, that is exciting, Sandy. I love that. I hope I'm doing these in the right order. You guys, if you notice that I'm doing them wrong, tell me. Because that would look terrible if I get to chatting and put it in the wrong place. This one's a little bit high. So my in-laws are on their way. I hear they're probably only about 3 or 4 hours away. So after this, I got to clear off that bed. Get this place ready for company. Right? Company. I have a different level of clean for company. All right, I'm going to push that up, and then we'll do these. And then I think, no, I'm still going to work the top down. Jen says, good for you. I did have a good day with the kiddos. We had a great day. They finished their work so quick. We had an easy day, as is every day, because they're just geniuses. And so I pulled out a bunch of board games, and I've been making them play board games. They're not all board games, but games with rules, basically. And the first day, they were like, I don't know how to play Candyland. I mean, okay, if you're 5 and you haven't had played Candyland yet, you're behind, in my opinion. This is my opinion. At 3, you should be playing Candyland with your parents, is what my opinion is. So they got a lesson in Candyland, and then today they got to choose their games and their partners and whatever, and they were doing it on their own. I was so proud of them. So much to be learned when you play games like that. There's so much goodness about that. Okay, so I think the fastest way to do this, hi Kathy Tweed, because you know, you guys, I don't like to do things slowly. I don't know if I can get away with doing this, but if I can, I'm going to. Because I'm going to tape this. I'm going to have to tape more here, but here we go. And I even got a little extra piece to put here because I cut this one a little on the wonky side. The bottom, there's plenty of room, so I'm not going to worry about the bottom. The sides should be fine. It's just, this one is the bottom row, so there's extra room. These probably need to be taped off at the top and the bottom. So what I would suggest is get your air bubbles out first. Get it exactly the way you want it, and then lay your tape down, okay? So this one's more about setting up than, you know, worrying about how to chalk it or anything like that. So your week off is cutting things on your laser? Oh, Janet, don't you? Yes, ma'am. I get to focus on, oh, darn. Hold, please. I'm going to have to redo that when we get there because my tape pulled it. My week off is I get to do the things, the joyful things of playing with my laser and making up new things for you guys. Yeah, I will be off all next week, you guys, all next week. And I am very much looking forward to that. Because the 5:30 alarm is super annoying. If it wasn't for that 5:30 alarm, I might be able to do it for a long time, but not too long. All right, so we're going to go across the top also. Now, you could make coasters out of these. Oh, wouldn't that be cute? You guys, you could make coasters out of these and give them as a gift. These would make the cutest coasters as a gift. This is just coming to me now. It's not that much of an epiphany, but it would be totally such a good gift. Of course, Janet. The only time I don't, like if I'm off and can't go live, it's because we're traveling to see the kids or something. For me, basically, I should say it's all chalk all the time next week for me, which is what I wish my life was like every day. All right, one more row. What is under here? Oh, be careful your cord is gone. You don't want that bumping underneath. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this down again. And you guys can see really good, actually, today. Hi, Denise. Is this the 12 days of Christmas? Yes, Kathy, it is the 12 days of Christmas. What color are you using to make this project? Sandy Bullard, I'm going to do the whole thing in black. This is how I'm doing it. I've seen it done multiple ways. And honestly, this is my favorite way that it's been done. I was not a fan of it done in red. I don't. The thing is I'm not a really big fan of red lettering. Maybe that's the teacher in me. I don't know. Red can be a little, I mean, I have done projects in red. Don't get me wrong. But I felt like this would be too much. Plus, the plan is to put gifts inside of it, each pocket. And I feel like that will bring the color. So this is my plan. All right. But, you know, the only problem is, I wasn't really thinking about this way. Is I'm going to have to... If I keep them all together, then I'm going to have to pull them all up at the same time, and I don't know that I want to do that. So just give me a second. I've changed my mind. I want to split my tape. Michigan, Jen. Our whole family is Michigan. We moved to the Dallas area in 2010. During like the real rough housing market crash and all that stuff. And we've been Jason and I and the kids have been here since 2010. Well, the kids are gone now, but they were basically almost all the way through elementary school. Joe was. Caitlin wasn't. She had like 2 years left when we moved here. Okay, let's start with the top and work our way down. Okay, guys? So, each time I do this, I'm just going to take a dry squeegee. Hopefully I remember to grab this one. And get my air bubbles out. This fabric is very textured, okay? So you do want to take your time and get your air bubbles out. And the transfer is going to be sticky, but not as sticky as it would stick on other fabrics. So just really take your time is all I'm advising. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to say, with a textured fabric like this, take your time, make sure your transfer is fully adhered to your fabric before you start. Okay, and then just check, take your time, check your fingers. I'm going to pull each one up carefully. See? You got to press firmly, as I usually say. But I don't always listen to myself. All right, so that one turned out great. Let's go to the next one. Same thing. Just press that down. Take your ink and press it pretty firmly, okay? Sometimes, depending on the color, I might go over the ink multiple times. Like I might get more ink and go over the transfer again. So if you have a dark surface and you're using like white ink, I will go over the transfer once like this and then go get more and then go over the whole thing again. Chalk it all again and then get my excess up. Especially if you use white on a dark fabric. Just to make it brighter. Okay, let me know if you have any questions at all. This tape is working out wonderful. Oops, I didn't trim this one. Hang on. Just want to put these over here. I almost feel like I don't want to get ink on this. So hang on. I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to set this somewhere else. This is where I'm putting all my things on the floor, I think. That way I don't have to open and close my drawer 100 times and I won't, at least not from doing that, I won't get ink on it. I do also recommend having a baby wipe next to you if you get a little bit of ink on your fingers. Okay, here we go. Same thing. Press this in all the way across. So yes, so after this, I have a meeting to go to. I'm going to go do that. But first, I'm going to do a little more picking up around here. Get my house a little more company clean than how we normally live. There's company clean, and then there's how we actually live, right? Well, at least in this house. Who's saying, hi, Marcia. How are you? I did have a good day with the kids. Okay, we're going to lift this one. Put this one down here. One more over on the first row. Like I said, that first, like setting this up is what took the longest. Now we're just going to get her done. Now, when you do work with fabric, your fabric absorbs some of your ink, right? You are going to use a little more than you do with on a wood surface or chalk or glass, right? So just know that. Whoops, not quite enough right there. Hang on. Hold, please. All right, there we go. There's number 4. When I was a kid, the neighbors were like a big part of our lives. And the dad in that household was a big, play the guitar, whatever. And they would come for Christmas Eve. And we would always go, we had enough people, we would go around the room and sing this. And I remember as a kid always wanting to do the 5 golden rings part. And it's so funny because I think about it back then, like my parents, everybody in the room, I'm sure, was like, Lord, this child should not be singing. First of all, I shouldn't have been singing at all. Second of all, I definitely shouldn't have been singing 5. And man alive, this is like, when kids are, they don't know. They don't necessarily know when they're bad at things. But I think back to it and I think, wow, it was nice of them to let me do it because I was terrible. When I got into middle school, I played trumpet. That much more suited for that. All right, let's lift this. All right, just laying all these down. My tape is getting way too. So the other thing, guys, if you use this tape for your transfers, I don't rip it off while the transfer is dry. Typically, I clean my transfers with the tape on and then just use my board eraser. And it'll come loose. You don't want to rip your transfer. So I'm just extra cautious. So I'm just, like I said, I leave it on unless it falls off on its own. I leave it on. I leave it on and then I kind of take it off when it's wet. It's a little, it's a little easier to get off and all that. So just be careful if you tape it off that you, that you're not ripping your transfer. If you rip it, that's, it's going to bleed in that spot always. Why did I move to Texas? Hi, Mary. Oh, that's cool, Mary. We moved to Texas. Okay, so the housing crash and all of that, right? We moved into our house in Michigan in 2008. And then when it was like 2 years later, there were so many people in the area that were losing. And Michigan was hit very hard by that. The auto industry was hit hard. Like a lot of people were losing their jobs. I'm just trying to set the tone. We were underwater on our house because we lost so much on that, you guys. And somebody that Jace had worked with in the past had called him kind of out of the blue and said, I want you to come work for me in Texas. And Jace and I talked and we were kind of trying to decide what to do because we lived our whole lives in Michigan, our whole family, like nobody really moved away. And then I went to the school shortly after that got brought up, and we learned because of I don't know if it was a depression or whatever, but because of everything that was going on, the schools were cutting the principals. So we learned that my daughter was going to end up having about 35 kids in her 4th grade class, and that they were going to make that school share a principal between her school and, I don't know, some other school in the district. And I just said to Jace, especially for Caitlin, she was a good student, but Joe would have done fine, however. But Caitlin, I did not want her to have 35 kids in a 4th grade class. Is insane. So I came home and I said, I think we should move. And so he called that person and just said, hey, if you can help us. We're going to probably have to take a loss on our house. If the company was willing to help us with that, then we would do it. And they were, and that's really the only way we were able to move, because we were like, I don't even know. We sold it for half of what we paid for it. I mean, it was terrible. It ended up being an awesome move, and nobody in our family would regret it. A lot of good things about Texas. We moved here for that time. We moved here, and Caitlin was only going to have 18 kids in her class. I mean, that's like a kindergarten class, for Pete's sake. It was awesome. So I say it was God's plan for us. In the end, all the moons aligned. Otherwise, we would have never moved until that recovered. So there's our moving story. There you go. Thanks for asking. All right, now why didn't I do this one? I want to get one with no ink on it. This one is very close too. So that's where we moved. That is the story of my life. Okay, let's do the bottom part, you guys. You know, you just never know how things are going to go, right? I personally, once we decided to move, I was so excited to live somewhere where it was warm most of the year. I really was. Like, the idea of living where it was warm was so amazing to me. And I still love it. Like, I remember thinking, like, that is so cool. So, you know, when you grow up in Michigan, and for me, I just didn't like the cold, and I still don't really, but this one's very close also. I'm playing with fire now. All right, we're almost done. These are turning out very cute. All right, 2 more. No, 3 more. Why do you think we were brave? Brave to move or what? I'm getting low on my black, so I'm just going to do this. We're going to do it this way. Do you think it was brave? I knew it would be hard, like the kids weren't going to love it. Joe was 11. He was young in his grade, so he was in the 6th grade when we moved, but he was 11 and we moved here, and Caitlin was 9. So Joe was pretty upset, but you know, we just said we're a family. As long as we're together, it doesn't matter where we are. I mean, and we made a commitment, and I drove home every Christmas, and oh, Donna, it sure is. Yes, I was more just thinking about them. You know, I wasn't so worried about me at all, but we made a commitment to go home we went home every Christmas for a lot of years. Joe got into soccer, and then there was one year where we couldn't. But we went home every Christmas. Sometimes we went Thanksgiving and Christmas. The hardest part was not being around for the nieces and nephews. And because our kids are, in our family, our kids are the oldest. So Jace and I, we're sad that we kind of missed out on going to the nieces and nephews soccer games or whatever they're involved in, right? And being there for award ceremonies and all those things, but it was definitely a good move for us. And my friends, I've been friends with the same friends since kindergarten, you guys. Some of them kindergarten, some of them middle school. I knew we were going to be friends no matter what. So to me, that wasn't scary at all. Born and raised in Virginia. Love that. Yeah, it was not easy to leave the family, but like I said, and my kids were very close to Jason's parents and my dad. But they had spent so much time with my kids that even moving, they still remain close to them. You know, they still are as adults, and really it takes just people making an effort. I mean, you just got to make an effort, right? Even if they're close or far, or you got to make an effort. It was a great move for my kids, so I'm glad we did it. Every decision we ever made was like they were first. So, do I ever? Who asked me that? Lena. We are in a point of life right now where we're kind of waiting to see what life brings. So the answer is yes, we've thought about it, but to be honest, I would like to move wherever my grandkids end up being if I do get grandkids. I don't know if I will. But I said to Jace, it's kind of silly to stay here. We have friends that, dear, dear, dear friends that I don't want to move away from. But it kind of, at some point, we either need to move back to Michigan or move by one of our kids. That's kind of what but they're young and, Caitlin's just getting married and all those things. So we got time. Oh, wait, what'd you say, Janet? Let's see. Born and raised in... Oh, you didn't want to move. And then all your kids left. And when my kids left, I'm like, jerks. They know I miss them terribly. Born and raised in Rowsville, Pennsylvania once. To Oil City, Pennsylvania. So you're still in Pennsylvania. Good parent. Wait, what did she say? Always put their kids first. I always do that as well. Yeah, I think me in particular, I shouldn't say, I kind of led with they come way first. If I could do it over, I think, they turned out amazing, so it worked out. I shouldn't say I would change it, but I do think you have to put your marriage first and the kids kind of first also. Like, it all has to be together. I am lucky enough to have a partner who is super supportive about, having the kids be first, so. That would be great, Lena. Lena, are you somewhere off of 75? No, you're not. You're way over on the east side of Ohio, aren't you? That's kind of far. You're still like 4 hours from Detroit, aren't you? I feel like. We'll have to make a plan, Lena, sometime when I go to Michigan. Would love to meet you. Or maybe you can come to like a chalk hunt. You could. My grandkids are mostly grown now, so that's why we made the choice to retire in Wisconsin. Meaning they're grown and with you in Wisconsin, or... Okay, this is all dry. Now, the way you're going to heat set your ink, you guys, and you've seen me do it, is... I'm not going to do it right now. But you want to put some parchment paper down, take your iron it for about 2 or 3 minutes on the hottest setting your fabric will allow. This fabric is super thick, so I'm going to do mine on my hottest setting, no steam, okay? And then you can wash this if you need to. I don't plan to wash this, but as I said, since I do think I'm going to take it to school, Let's fill it with a couple things though. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. We're almost done. I just want to get I gotta pull all this out anyway, so let's do it. I'm gonna get a couple things out of here if I can. Just to show you, like, it's all in black, but you guys, look. When you put colorful Christmas things in here, or wrapping paper, or whatever, when you wrap a box and put it in, for now, I'm just going to do this. These things are going to be your color. You don't want a lot of distraction going on with this. This is why I did it all in black, okay? We'll put this one on up here and maybe one more. See if I have one more. Until I get my toys, you're going to put your greens and reds and whatnot in your, whatever this is called, organizer. Oh, please. Oh, cute. I've got this. I've got these. I'm just digging through my stash here. I like the darker green. So there's this little thing. Maybe we'll put that at the top. So I've got some faux greenery. Let's put this here. So I'm just trying to show you how it will look. Hang on, let me grab some more of that greenery. Okay. Put this one over here and maybe one at the top. Oh, I want those together. Here, maybe let's do this. This is annoying me. Just move them around, put them wherever you like. Then I do have this little clip-on doolally that maybe we'll put at the top. So let me flip this around just so you can get the feeling for it. Like I said, this is why I chose to do it in black, because then your items will make it look festive. You could even wrap this in like a garland. You could wrap this across if you like it. What do you guys think? Type the word 12, check your messages. Oh, I see. And we feel comfortable enough to retire. I see, and then you can visit and whatever. I see, Mary. Route 11, but 75 is only 40. Oh, that's not bad. You're not that far away then. Do you love it? I think this is pretty. Now, like I said, this is a very long rope on it. I don't know. I may cinch mine down. You can tie it shorter here on the ends. Well, I hope you love it. I think it's so cute. I cannot wait to make. I think I might just make them both like this. We'll see. All right, guys, this is so cute. All right, thanks for hanging out with me. I have got a mad dash to clean up around here, so I'm gonna go. But you have until the 12th of October to enroll at half off. So if you type 12, check your messages. All the links that you need are in your messages. Enrolling half off as a designer, enrolling half off as a Perks member, so you can save either 30 or 40% off, okay? All right, everyone, have a great day. Bye.